But now moving from the likes to the dislikes, something that I really didn't like. Kylo Ren, I thought his lines were good. It was good writing. I didn't personally like his delivery. I liked the scenes where he was unstable. I really liked that. I thought that made him into a very interesting character. A writing part that I didn't like is he was the one implied that killed all the Jedis in training at Luke Skywalker's camp.
Right.
So he kills all these Jedis. Luke can't even stop him from doing that. So he's clearly extremely strong, extremely powerful.
Yeah.
And he gets in a fight with Finn that lasts maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And Finn actually does some damage on him. That to me, and I understand Finn's hurt, that to me makes no sense at all. A guy who can kill 6 Jedis in training, Luke Skywalker can't even stop him, and Finn, who's never picked up a lightsaber before, actually goes head-to-head with him and toe-to-toe with him.
Granted, we don't know the context. Those Jedi in training could have been like the Padawans that Anakin slays, you probably wouldn't know this, but slays in Episode 3 when he turns. You know, they could be young, like, little boys and just, like, slay them like that.
Right, but they're still Jedis in training, so they have to have some ability that they were picked out by Luke Skywalker.
Yeah,
that's yeah.
That'd be something.
I was playing devil's advocate.
Right.
It's fair. It's fair.
I don't think Kylo Ren should be that powerful yet. I think that he needs to grow. I think he's like very, like you said, immature. Yeah. I think.
Well, even Snoke says that he says, "Come complete your training. You're ready."
Right,
he's not even done yet.
Right. Well, now I think the big factor is that his father Han Solo is dead. I think that's a big obstacle that he's going to get over. And
that's what he wanted. That's what he said.
Yeah, exactly. So, and another thing with that is, that was a huge plot twist when you find out Han Solo is the father. But I love how it's all family connected. I know you don't really like that.
Yeah,
it's all one big family. I like that though. That's just how Star Wars has always been. And now if you have the case where this girl is actually Daisy Ridley, I always forget her character's name. Ray. Yeah, it's just a weird female name. I always think Ray's a male name. But her character, if she actually is in fact Luke Skywalker's daughter, now you have the whole cousin versus cousin thing going on,
of course,
which is kind of cool. So they always keep that family thing related. But anyway, on to dislikes. Was there anything in particular that you didn't?
Yeah, I had a couple things. I didn't, from what I've understand with the movies, with the whole Death Star and all that stuff, I didn't like how they were like, hey, this one's 17 times bigger, and we'll blow it up in the first movie. Like, it was like, all right, let's show this immense power, destroys 5 planets at once, and uses a sun's power, the power and all that, all that stuff, and then you blow it up again with, just a couple X-fighters and some controlled explosions, and even Han Solo makes the joke of there's always a way to blow it up, and it's but that's kind of a cop-out. I don't like that. I agree with you in some of the fight with Kylo Ren. We disagree in the character of Kylo Ren and the acting portrayal, which I really like. But I don't like how, all right, Finn maybe gets some shots on him, things like that. You also have to remember, he was shot by Chewie.
Right, he was indeed. So, right.
And in that scene also, it shows how insane he is that he keeps punching them and bleeding him more and more.
Right.
So, when we were talking, you were like, oh, maybe he was clotting it. I'm like,
no, that works.
He was making himself bleed.
Which is good. It's good writing, because it just shows how
So, I like. But what I didn't like is then when he fights Rey. Right? So, in that scene, before he fights Finn, he throws her into the tree with the Force, right?
She's out.
And then he fights Finn, F's up Finn, right? Finn gets a couple shots, but he really F's up Finn, right? So then she has this, iconic moment where he's trying to grab the lightsaber, and she grabs it, right?
Yeah.
I know she's got staff training, but you're telling me that he's trained with Snoke and Luke and all this stuff, and he just lets her, for the first time picking up a lightsaber, kick his ass. I mean,
she kicked his ass.
Yeah. I mean, beside, when he was holding her over the little cliff area, she kicked his ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that I didn't like, where it was just all right, that's maybe a little unbelievable.
It felt like they maybe tried to rush her character development a little bit into this extremely powerful Jedi, which is obviously what they wanted to portray with her. And I thought her character was very good, but that scene, I do agree, that was a little...
Well, a lot of people were saying that people who had problems with this movie, and it's doing great, it has a 92% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
But people had problems with Rey they thought she was too goody two-shoe in a way. A character...
Too perfect.
I forget the name of it, but it's basically a character who cannot do anything wrong.
Right.
Everything they do works. Oh, I fly the Millennial Falcon for the first time?
And
I perfectly do it.
Yeah,
I
ride the compressor.
I perfectly line up a shot so Finn could hit it in this weird fucking cockpit that they are. everything she did was great. I pick up a lightsaber for the first time. I kick off basically this kind of Sith, even though they're not called Siths, Lord's ass.
Right.
Like those are problems I had with it. But that's just nitpicking. I mean, but I still loved it.
Right. It did feel like they maybe rushed her character development.
Maybe not necessarily development, but like in terms of ability, rushed a little.
Right.
Like, she still has like a long way to go in terms of character development, but like they kind of like pushed her physical ability
and what she can
to
do.
Exactly.
like a little too much.
Definitely.
Right. So what did you dislike, if there was anything?
Well, kind of to branch off with what Pete said about the planet destroyer thing.
Yeah.
I
Destroyer.
sort of dislike that for a different reason. I'm all about like parallels in film. Like I know there's a lot of parallels between the original trilogy and the prequels, but like I want it to be subtle. In this, like this is almost like, oh, they did that to the Death Star, exact same thing to this one in the exact same way. Like that's a parallel. That's blatant. That's like too obvious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like they could have been a little more subtle with it. But
Yeah, I agree with that. And like you mentioned earlier, I don't like the family tie thing.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well,
like
I like it because I just think it's Star Wars.
I don't know. To me, here's the thing, right? For me, right? All right, have a couple, brother, sister, daughters, sons, blah blah blah. Right? The moment you keep doing that, let's say Rey ends up being Luke's daughter, right? The moment you do that, you make your universe so small, and everything is with these 3-5 people.
right.
There's no feeling of this is an expansive, goes on in a far, far away galaxy.
Right. It's all like the same,
everything
like, 5,
is
6
around
people.
these people. I mean, right? Because a majority of the galaxy probably doesn't even know the Death Star blew up,
Right.
or doesn't know any of the battle that just happened or anything.
Well,
and you keep it so small.
Well, the entire Republic is destroyed. They destroyed all 5 planets of the
Right,
Republic,
right.
so they're all gone. And the thing with that though is you do have other characters where you can branch out. That pilot's name, I forget what his
Poe
name.
Dameron.
Right. Finn. You have other characters. The Emperor Snoke. Even that female. My brother thought it was like Boba
Captain
Fett's cousin.
Phasma.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with Boba Fett, but it looks like it. I mean, she didn't have any.
That's
she
another
was
negative I had. I didn't
enough.
like. She was.
Yeah.
Hopefully she'll. Again, there's 2 more movies, but she was so underutilized.
She might even be
But
dead.
they just throw her in the trash compactor, which I kind of like that little nod
Yeah.
towards the earlier movie, but like
Right.
that leaves
I got that from Family Guy. I was like,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they kind of leave that open ended, so I'm sure she'll probably return, like wake up in the trash or something.
Yeah, I wanted more from Gwendolyn Christie there.
Definitely.
I thought that she was going to be some kind of big, powerful force.
Speaking of which, when you told me her name, I didn't know who she was, but I looked it up. I'm like, oh, that's she's from Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and she's a great character in that, and
yeah.
so I think they'll use her more.
Yeah, you have to. When you have an actor
Yeah.
of that caliber, I don't watch Game of Thrones, but like
She's a large woman.
you got
Large woman.
to definitely use that. You make a character this chrome kind of stormtrooper.
She's got to mean something.
Got to do something.
Yeah, there's no way they gave her the script and said, you're only going to be in this movie for about 4 minutes worth of dialogue and scenes, and you're going to get killed in the end. And we don't even show your death.
Yeah.
There's no way that was agreed upon. Otherwise, they would have just gotten a random actress. They would have gotten a nobody.
Nobody, yeah.
So you're right. There's definitely going to be use for her in the next 2 movies. There has to be.
And
There has to be.
That's what happens with people like us. We're guilty of it, and other critics are, and fans alike, is that we've waited so many years for these movies that we want it all now.
Right.
And it's like, listen, Disney has a plan. There's 3 movies in this arc. There's all these other anthology films.
Right.
Like, there's gonna be other stuff to come.
Of course.
You can't rush character arcs. We're sitting here complaining about how quick Rey was developed, and yet, we want to stick more in this 2-hour and 12-minute movie.
Yeah, it was already like decently long.
You know, so one other thing I wanted to say that I love was that when Kylo's there with Harrison Ford, they're on the bridge, it's very
Right.
iconic.
Yeah.
I knew even 20 minutes before that they were killing
That
him.
was a spoiler.
I leaned
that
over to
read,
you and I was
so-
like,
I got spoiled.
It
It didn't spoil for me, but I
leaned over to you and I went, he's dead.
Yeah.
They killed him. That scene when they're both holding it and like they're
Well, you
with the
won't-
saber, and then the light goes out from the Star Destroyer, like it sucks the rest of the planet out, and that's when he stabs him. That's great film visuals, right?
Oh yeah,
I'm just like the whole
intentional.
light to dark turn. I love little stuff
Yeah.
like that. That I love that.
Yeah, I've seen the movie twice. I didn't actually think about that, but yeah, that is a good.
I love it.
Good cinematography.
Yeah, it is good. It is. Yeah.
But overall, Dill, what would you give this movie? What are your overall last impressions of this movie?
I really enjoyed it. I don't remember I watched all 6. I don't remember them too well, but I mean, and I loved the first 6 when I did watch them. But this made me like really want to go back and watch those first 6. This movie was just very good. And I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. There were some things that bothered me, but you know, A minus, solid A. It was 8.5 for me. It was a really good movie. What about you?
Yeah, I gotta go in the same ballpark. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
I for someone who wasn't introduced into this and this first movie, I loved it. I had fun. I laughed. I felt compassion to scenes. I felt, oh my god, you know, when Harrison Ford gets killed, even though I knew it was gonna happen, it's still, it's Han Solo.
Yeah, I know.
So you grow up hearing about this character, but I loved it, and I can't wait for more. I can't wait for Rogue One next year. So
Yeah.
9 out of 10 for me.
So what about you?
I don't give many nines. I also feel that like sometimes numbers can be arbitrary, but
True.
I feel like a 9 is where I want to place that 9 out of 10, just because I barely found anything that I disliked with it.
Good. So anonymously, good reviews from all of us.
Absolutely.
Good. Yeah, it was a very good movie.
Unanimously.
Unanimously. I apologize. It's been a long night.
It's a long day.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for watching. We hope you enjoyed our review of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And if you liked it, please hit the like button, hit subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And comment. What did you guys think of the movie? Because we'd love to hear your opinions. We'll definitely write back to you. So, yeah, just let us know. And Nick T, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
It's
you
been a
very
pleasure.
much.
Hopefully I'll be on much more.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.